load anything.
No, sometimes does that, like you say, gremlins in the system. All right, we're on.
Keep on coming out and going back in.
Right, we're on.
So, sorry, it's been a really busy week this week. So I can't remember the topic.
Feelings and manifestation, or manifestation. Feelings being the first manifestation that we get.
So the feeling we get just before.
Well, no, because if you listen to Abraham Hicks, they say that feelings are your first manifestation. That is actually a manifestation. So I think that's what we were going to talk about, like the fact that I guess so we think it's true, and
yeah, and weren't we saying about it's sometimes a realization that that a manifestation you've made come true, and then you get the feeling of, oh wow, this is what I thought about, or I remember thinking about this, or flipping heck, I remember thinking about this, but I thought of it, but I didn't really want it. So it's definitely be careful what you think about.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, Rosa, because sometimes you think about it, you let it go, which is what we need to do, isn't it? And it's only when you get what you wanted that you start thinking, oh yeah, that's how I was feeling beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know, it's strange, isn't it? Because I think sometimes I've thought about things and I don't know if it's almost like your higher self telling you this is what you want, and there it is, and you didn't even necessarily realize that was what you wanted. But, you know, here it is in this nice little package, and it's everything is kind of made so easy. The process of getting it is so ridiculously easy. I mean, I remember buying my very first flat, and the flats that were for sale in the estate agents, when I went in on the Saturday, and they went, oh no, they're all gone. But here's this, we've just taken a phone call for this flat where you want it. And it turned out it was bigger than the flats I'd been looking at, but the man who was selling it was being relocated to somewhere else I think it was in Europe. I think it's Berlin. His job was taking him to Berlin, and he just wanted a fast sale. He didn't want any hassle with renting. He didn't want anything bothering him. So he sold it for £500 more than he paid for it.
Wow.
So I got the bargain of a lifetime. And it was just, everything was just so ridiculously easy. It just all came together completely. And I didn't even realise, sometimes, you know, you just think, I didn't even know I wanted that. But I don't know whether I wanted it or I was just, it's one of those things where you're going to have it. Do you know what I mean? Regardless, you're going to have it. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
You know, it.
Do you think sometimes we want something, the universe knows we want something, but it puts something else, gives us something else, and we're it's not that what we want, it's not that what we didn't want, but it's not what we thought it would be. And that's what I find sometimes hard to understand with manifestations and things like this, that you manifest something, but then it might be what you want, but it might not be either where you want it, or exactly like you wanted it, but it's right, if that makes sense.
But that's when things, that's when we can't kind of go, yeah, I think you're right. And I think, but that's when things can go wrong, because if we've got a picture in our mind of this is what I want, and it's not exact, and we push against it and we push against it and we push against it, and actually we should have just gone with the universe knows best. Follow those steps. And it is almost that, just which thought feels better. Is it that one or that one? And you get what you want more. But I think sometimes we'll get caught up, not so much now, but certainly before learning all of this, I would get caught up in I want that, and it's got to be that, and I won't give up until I get that.
I've done that.
Yeah, I'm much better at doing that, going, oh well.
It's that the line my nan always used to use: what's meant to be will be.
Yeah.
And that was just, you know, it was that sense of, if you are pushing too hard for something, it's, you know, I do sometimes then have to think, it's that bit about having faith, isn't it? What's meant to be will be. It will all come good. And as they say, is it Francis Shin says, the darkest night is before the dawn. And sometimes I've found before manifestation, there is that almost things get worse before they get significantly better.
It's like, well, you have to release it, don't you, before it can come. And you have to kind of give up control. And it's almost like
faith.
Yeah, but you have to go, oh well, if it doesn't come, I'm okay, and then it comes. It has to kind of almost not matter if it comes, because you're happy anyway.
Yes, I think that's the secret. That is the massive one, Hilary, is that you're happy anyway. That's the big one.
Yeah, and I mean, it is that thing of gratitude and accepting where you are and being, you know, content with where you are. And if nothing else happens, actually looking at your life and thinking, do you know what? It's not that bad. In fact, it's pretty bloody good.
It is when you start looking at gratitude, what to be grateful for or appreciative of, it just blows you away, really, doesn't it? Because we can get caught up in this, oh, my day's so hard, this didn't work, that didn't work, da, 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 da. And actually, even if you've had the worst day in the world, you will have had some things to be grateful for, even if it's the eyes to see the video. You know, we've all got the access to the internet, or we wouldn't be doing this or listening to this. You know, we've all got the money to pay for the internet and a device of some sort to put on it. There, you know, but even your legs to carry you, and eyes, a mouth to take in the food, a nose to breathe the air, and you know, there's so much to be grateful for.
Look, if you're healthy.
Absolutely. And even if you're not healthy, there are parts of you that are going to be healthy. And if you can look at those healthy parts and be grateful for them, you'll find that the other ones do fit into place.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm always grateful that when I go through the day, and sometimes I think, oh God, I feel really tired today. And then I think of a time when I was ill and I was so tired. And I just think, you know what, Anita, you know you don't know tired today because you knew tired then. And that was, so you're fine. You can sort yourself out. If you feel tired, all you need to do is have an early night.
Mm.
You need to not read for so long in bed. You can switch the light out and to go to sleep. You know, you're not tired for reasons that you've been tired before. So really be grateful.
Mm.
And like you say, Anita, that now is an easy fix. You just have an early night and you're much better the next day. It's an easy fix, isn't it? It's not like...
But it is, except I'm reading. That's the problem.
Yeah, but you could change it. That's your choice. You don't have to read, Anita. You don't have to.
Oh, I do. I can't go a day without reading. My God. I would hate that.
Oh, I know. I read when I go to bed.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
Yes, but I do read when I go to bed, but it literally is usually a page, maybe two. And then I'm like, no, I'm tired. And I go to sleep. I don't even have to finish this chapter because I can't.
Yeah. No, I love reading. I have always loved reading. I think the only time I stopped reading so much was after, because doing my undergrad dissertation and then doing my postgrad dissertation, I had to read so much that reading stopped being about pleasure and started being a chore.
Mm.
And I remember when I finished, particularly when I finished my master's, sitting down one afternoon in the lounge, just sitting there and thinking, oh, I should be doing something. What should I be reading? Oh God, what should I be reading? And that panic, and then that sudden thought of, I don't have to read anything. It was like, oh, that's liberating. I'm not going to read anything today. Happy as Larry on that one. But yeah, I think there really is that sense of knowing. Do you ever get that? That actually you can relax because you know it's all working out. It's all going to be fine. It's all coming your way.
Yeah, I can do that more and more now than I've ever done. Is if there's something going on that I'm a bit like unsure about, and in the past it would have minded me, and it starts to mind me, and then I say no. It will sort itself out. I don't have to worry about it. Something will happen and it'll sort itself out, and something always does. And it's never yet. I've never got to the crunch and it's not been sorted out. I might have got to an hour or 2 hours before, but I've never got to have to do something and it's not sorted itself out.
But sometimes it's even better, the thing that sorts out. Trust. Even better than you imagined. Yeah. Like your house, Rosa. You didn't want to live there and it's your perfect house.
Yeah, I didn't want to live here. I didn't want to live on this estate. Yeah. And it's just been 14 years of absolute sheer bliss.
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it? And
Mm.
and it's funny, but even with this house, every house I tried to buy, something happened. The first house we went, there was an old couple, the old man died. The second house we went after, the first house we went after, the lady was absolutely obstropolous, and in the end I told her, well, you don't want your house, let's put it that way. The second house, the old man died. So of course they had to go through all that. The third house they got power of attorney, when somebody's died. Probate on the mum, but they hadn't got probate on the dad. And then we came for this one, and this one had a leak just before we signed for it. But I had to make a decision: was I going to buy it or was I not? And I made the decision to buy it. But I was sat with Martin in the car, and he went, "What are you going to do, Mum?" I said, "I don't know." But I bought it, and it was, and when I look back, none of the other houses would have given me the pleasure that this one has.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened to me. I was working at the time in Cambridge, and I wanted to, I don't want to live in Cambridge, but I wanted to live closer because I was living near London at the time. So it was a right slap up the M11 to get there every day. And the first house I looked at, it was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah.
Got so far as to have, my dad said to me, get a full structural survey. It's an old house, get a full structural survey, rather than, the valuation surveys that you get.
Yeah.
And I'd sold my house, and I'd got this full structural survey, and oh my God, the problems with this house. And it was all infrastructure problems. And the surveyor estimated that the cost of putting it right, I mean, it was really big stuff like asbestos.
Wow.
No fire break in the loft between me and the next door neighbour. All this really big stuff. He reckoned it was between £50,000 and £75,000 worth of work. And so the mortgage company said, well, we are going to withhold £50,000 to £75,000 because the valuation of the house. So I went to the owners and they said, well, no, we're not going to reduce it. And I was like, well, I haven't got £50,000 to £75,000 knocking around to put into the house. So I pulled out and found this other house, absolutely gorgeous, loved it, beautiful village, absolutely perfect. Probate. Probate wasn't supposed to be a problem. And it ended up being the biggest problem you could imagine, where a solicitor friend of mine looked at it and said, this is going to take 2 years because there was a challenge and all the rest of it. So I pulled out. And what ended up happening within a year was I got this great job closer to where I was living.
Oh, right.
So I left Cambridge.
You just have to be open to every eventuality, don't you? And sometimes it's just that nudge that something doesn't feel right or something does feel right and you don't know why, and you don't know. And sometimes people will say, you're crazy, why are you doing that? And it's because it feels right. I want to.
But I do think...
And it is about that. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, go on.
No, go on, I've finished.
I was just going to say, sometimes I think there is this fear of, does it really feel right or wrong, or is it your mind telling you it's not right, or it's right? Do you know what I mean? I know somebody who will remain nameless, that, and this is her favourite saying, it doesn't feel right. Dear Lord, 90% of the decisions don't feel right. Now, at some point, what are we feeling it? Are we feeling it from our mind because our mind is frightened to make that decision? Or are we feeling it inwardly, our gut and our heart is saying, this is not right?
There's a very subtle difference, I would say, in those two. And it's just knowing, you just know. I think that's the thing. I think when it's that your soul or your in you that knows, it's more, and it's
visceral.
I'm worried about this and I'm worried about that, and you can't put it to words, can you? Or just this just feels like something I want to do.
I think
or not.
Yeah, I mean, a few years ago something happened, and this voice, this really loud voice in my head was just going, no. And it was such a visceral, I reacted with every part of my body. And it was, we'll talk about the mind-body connection, every part of me was just going, no. And that wasn't uncertainty. That wasn't fear of the unknown or anything. That was just my higher self just going, no, this is not an outcome we are willing to accept. So no, end of.
Yeah, it's really interesting you should say that, actually, because yesterday morning when I went out the back with my bike, because I've got shingle on the back, in the back garden, and it was solid and it was slippy, and I thought at that point, maybe I shouldn't go out. Don't be silly, Hilary, I should have listened to that, because then I came off once, didn't hurt myself, so I got back on and carried on and came off again seconds later. And the second time I was like a cartoon character trying to get back up again because it was so icy. But I should have, I wasn't hurt badly, so it's fine, but I should have listened to that. But then I don't want to be one of these, I know I get a bit obsessed with going out on my bike, but I think it's because I don't want to be that person that makes excuses to not exercise. And I could see, and I'm not going to be that person, because even if I missed one day, I would go out the next day. It's not like, but you see it a lot, don't you? Well, I can't do that because I haven't got a gym membership, or I've got a gym membership, I haven't lost enough weight to go to the gym, or I haven't, or got time. I haven't got the energy, or like there's and I just don't want to, and I'm not going to be that person, but that I've got that fear.
I've written the book on those excuses. I've got them all.
Yeah.
Especially at the moment, I just haven't got the motivation.
Right, girls, ladies, I'm gonna cut us short because I'm thinking of the time and the fact that Hilary and I have got another call to go on.
Yeah.
But we are meeting again next Thursday at 7:30, aren't we? We're talking about the vortex next week.
Yes, I still love the vortex.
So this should be interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. So if any of you want to join us on our live in Facebook or watch the replay, put comments, much appreciated. And we'll see you next Thursday, same time, same place. So lots of love and have a great rest of your week and a lovely weekend.
Lots of love. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.